Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Titi.
Hi, I'm Nanika.
We are from Taiwan. We are from Team T5 and Team T5 Research. The topic of this talk is you cannot see me. A Mac OS Rootkit uses the tricks you haven't known yet. Yeah. Since there are more and more people start using Mac, so attacking Mac OS has become a trend as we see more and more malware with advanced attack techniques on Mac OS X. In order to gain persistent control and avoid detection, malware has started to adopt rootkit tricks. So in this talk, we are going to introduce several new rootkit tricks that couldn't be detected by existing security software. All right, Nanika and me founded Team T5 Research in Taiwan recently. We are doing cyber threat research. We monitor, analyze, and track cyber threats throughout the Asia-Pacific region. We are also very interested in vulnerability and vulnerability research. Not only analyze exploit and vulnerability that is used by in real attack. We are also happy to look for new problems on new platform or in new technology. We are also members of Challenger Security Group in Taiwan, and we hold HitCon every year. I'm the HitCon organizer. HitCon is the largest security conference in Taiwan, and we have like about 800 attendees every year. Okay, so many people say that Taiwan is a country without natural resource. Actually, it is wrong. Taiwan has the most abundant cyber attack natural resource in the world, especially APT and target attack samples. I think many APT researchers, they are eager to look for samples because it is not easy to get samples. But it is not very difficult in Taiwan because due to political issues, and so the picture shows. The picture is from VirusTotal, and Taiwan. The submission from Taiwan is rank number 2. So doing cyber threat research in Taiwan is interesting. So this is a short introduction of me. My name is Sang Tin, and you can just call me TT, which is easier. And I'm the leader of Team T5 Research, and we like threat and vulnerability research. And Nanika is our chief researcher. He is a well-known vulnerability researcher and has been disclosing new vulnerability for many years. And his major area of expertise include vulnerability research, exploit techniques, malware detection, mobile security, and he discovered numerous Windows system and document application vulnerabilities. And so he released many zero-day and report to Microsoft before. And in recent years, we have started exploration and discovering problems on macOS. And Nanika and me frequently give presentations in many security conferences. All right. So these are the topics we are going to discuss today. And more than 5 tricks we are going to show you. We will show you some advanced process hiding techniques and how to become a privileged normal user and how to direct access kernel memory from user space. And also on Mac OS 10.9, there is a security warning that if you want to load third-party kernel module, you will get a warning. But we will show you how to load a malicious kernel module without warnings. And finally, I will show you a tricks to gain root permission. Okay, so the first topic, advanced process hiding. Okay. Yeah, let me introduce the Rubelin Rootkit. It was released on full disclosure in 2012, and claim that capabilities that you can see, like hiding files, hiding a process, hiding a user, hiding a network connection. So yeah, it is very famous. Yeah, and because it is open source, so it shows people how to implement Rootkit on Mac OS. And also, although it is already 2 years old, it is still many people are still discussing about this, and we are going to but there are many features, but we are going to focus on the process hiding. Okay, so this is how Rubelin hide process. It directly modifies kernel objects to unlink a process from the linked list. So it is a typical DKOM approach to hide process. Okay, so, and this is the process structure in kernel, in Mac OS kernel, and the plist is the linked list. Is a linked list. It is a list of all process. Yeah, the first element is a list of all process. Yeah, so Rubelin just unlink list, and you probably noticed the task pointer. The third element is a task pointer. Will point to another task object, and so one process object will have one process object have a task object. So actually, all tasks are also in another linked list. So as you can see, the task is there is the chain, a queue chain task. That is a linked list of all tasks. So there's another linked list. Okay, so detecting Rubelin process hiding is trivial. That the way Rubelin hide process is very simple. So it just unlinks plist to hide process. So detecting Rubelin is not difficult. We can easily detect Rubelin process hiding by listing task and comparing with process. So if the process is not showing in the task, so that means someone is unlinked. Someone did unlink the process. Okay. So Rubelin actually cannot hide from active monitor. You cannot see hidden process using it can only hide from PS, the PS command. You type PS and you cannot see the process. But if you use active monitor, it will see the process that hidden by Rubelin. And another information is Rubelin cannot run. Can only run on 10.7. Okay, so Volatility is a very well-known memory forensic tool, and new version of Volatility supports Mac OS X, so it can scan a memory dump from Mac OS, and so it can detect Rubelin Rootkit as well, of course. Okay, so in Mac OS kernel, process and task is actually very complicated. There are several linked lists to chain those objects, not only process and task. There are a lot. So Volatility checks several linked lists as well to make sure there is no invisible process. So we try to bypass Volatility. So we unlink plist, we unlink phash, we unlink PG list, we unlink text, so then we can bypass Volatility. So this is the way we bypass it. Okay, let's see a demo. Okay, in the beginning we launch a calculator. And the PID of calculator is 200. All right, and now we load our Rootkit, our kernel module. And we use SYCT control to specify the PID that we would like to hide. All right, so yeah, as you can see, the calculator is missed in the active monitor. So now this process is invisible now. And now we're trying to dump memory. It requires some time. All right. Okay, so now we can use volatility to show. This is we use volatility to read the memory, to parse the memory dump, and to see if there is the process calculator. So as you can see, it is sorted by PID, and the PID 200 is missed, not shown here. Yeah, so use this approach, we can bypass volatility. Okay, so hide and detect a process is like an cat and mouse game in kernel. When someone releases a new way to detect, there is always a new way to bypass. It's, if you release the approach you have, in future there definitely someone will bypass you or detect you. So doing this stuff is really hard work. You need to dig into complicated kernel objects. You need to implement a kernel module. You need to guarantee the stability of your rootkits. So, however, during this research, we noticed something very interesting. So let's see a demo. Now we use the rootkit that we have to hide a process, and we found something very interesting. Okay, so we launch the calculator. And the PID is 425. Okay, so now we use our rootkit to hide this process. All right, so you cannot see calculator now. All right. Okay, so there was someday we noticed a command can actually very easily to see all process, no matter what way you hide, what way you use, what rootkit you use. To hide a process. You see the launch CTL list grep find develop PID. So you can see this process. And so what happened? Yeah, let me explain. Okay, so we call it is a user mode magic. That from demo you can see the command we use to list all process. This command is purely a user mode application, and all the data it used is in user mode. And it is very simple way to detect an invisible process from user space, only user space, no matter what magic you are using in the kernel. So no matter what how many kernel objects you modify. So the user mode tool can list all processes that you hide in kernel. Yeah. It is because of LaunchD. The reason is the LaunchD. LaunchD is monitoring all process creation and termination. It is in charge of the process creation. So it maintains a job list in user mode. LaunchCTL is the tool to communicate with LaunchD. It can easily list all jobs. So if you want to hide process, you have to deal with LaunchD. So we are going to see more details of LaunchD. Since LaunchCTL can list process, so we start from here. It is LaunchCTL, the code of LaunchCTL. You can see this function is the key part. So use this, call this command, and this command will send a message to LaunchD. Okay, and finally it will call this function to send message to LaunchD. And in LaunchD, the function is in charge of the list all job is in this function. And as you can see, a job object is actually the process in LaunchD. So yeah, if we can look for the job in the LaunchD, then we can list all process, or we can try to unlink list. And each job has a job MGR structure for management information. So we need to look for job MGR in LaunchD. Okay. However, the symbol in LaunchD is removed. So here are some hints for you that how we reverse engineer the LaunchD. We use some string to identify the code. Here is the source code, but in LaunchD you cannot see function symbol. So we use like this string to identify the code, and try to look for the job MGR structure. Okay, so in this function you can also see there is a root job MGR. So from this function, if we can access this object, root MGR, we can list all jobs or look for specific job in LaunchD. But it is not easy because no symbol, and you have to try. So yeah, we analyzed the root job MGR, and we found it is in the data section. Yeah, so yeah, you see here, you can see this place is around in the file this place. So okay, so the way we unlinked a job in LaunchD is the first, we have to get root permission. The second, enumerate process LaunchD and get LaunchD task, and try to read LaunchD memory and find data section, and find the next and the most important thing is find root MGR, and you have to try the element in the data section of the LaunchD. And the way we verify it is a LaunchD is a list there. You have to verify the point. Is it a real LaunchD, real root job MGR object? If we get the root job MGR, then we can start to enumerate job mgr and get job. Then, using the linked list between the job, and we can find target job, and we unlink the job. Right. We have a short demo here as well. Right. Continue the demo that we had. Now we use Rootkit to hide the process, but from user mode, we can still use launchctl to see the process. Now we will try to modify the data in launchd, so then we can hide the process. Okay, so now the target is 425. As list tool can kill the job in launchd, not kill the real job, just unlink it. All right, so we did. So now we try to find the job again. It is invisible now. Yeah, so hiding a process in Mac OS, you need to deal with something in kernel and user space as well. All right, so after hiding files as a root, as a rootkit, the next important thing is to give permission to a normal user. So in following slide, I'm going to show you how we silently grant permission to a normal user. Okay, here is a demonstration that you can see the user who am I. VM. It is actually a normal user, and but we use kext stat to check the kernel module. Nanika.true is it in kernel, but we couldn't find that, and we use our tool kext load is our tool to load the kernel module, and you can see it successfully loaded the kernel module, but it is still a normal user. Yeah. So a normal user can load a kernel module. So how do we do this? Okay, it is because of the host privilege. The host privilege with host privilege you can do many things, including load kernel module. And if you can load kernel module, you can get into kernel. You can do many things. So this privilege is very important. It actually more important than it is almost similar to root. So in host project, you can see this element special is storing the privilege information. Host privilege information. And host privilege is listed here. Normal it is 1, and with special privilege is 2. And with host privilege, you can do many things like here. Yeah. At least you can load kernel module. Okay, so and also with host privilege, you can control kernel task. And I will show you what powerful it is. Okay, so how to obtain host privilege? The first, in kernel, you have to find a real host, this symbol, from kernel. You parse kernel and find symbol. And then find target task, which task you want to assign the permission, the privilege. And assign this point, real host spatial 2, to task ITK host. Then this task has a privilege, and no need to become root. It already have the privilege. Okay, so how do we implement a rootkit with host privilege? So there are several ways, like call hook, like system call hook, and call patching. And in following slide, I will show you how do we do call patch to make rootkit with this function. So we try to replace system call table, and then we find this address, and then we try to patch the call here. And it is global effectiveness. Like if any user want to request a permission, and the rootkit will grant the permission without asking, without any checking. All right. So in this function is this this trap, this handler in charge of the checking the host permission of the task. But we modify the code here. Then next time this code is called, it will return, always give the permission. Okay, so instead of code patching is not easy, it's difficult. We have another better way that this way is easiest and undetectable by traditional detection and stable. How do we do this? Very simple. We just find the host privilege object, and then we specify 2 to 1. So the normal host privilege is the same with the spatial privilege. So after modify this, we call it data patch. After patch this data, then it is global effectiveness that every user can have permission to load kernel module. Okay, so now our normal user can do many things now. With host privilege, how and what a normal user can do from user mode and kernel mode, I'm going to show you. So the first, direct kernel memory access from user mode. This is new. That since macOS 10.6, it restricts task access from kernel task. So text for PID, originally text for PID can be used to access kernel, but kernel task. But it is not supported on the new on the kernel task. So new version of Mac OS X, this function cannot be used to access kernel task. So no matter your privilege level nor what API you used, so there is no legitimate legitimate use for inspecting kernel memory. But I'm going to show you a way. So now we make it possible again. Direct text access. We don't use text for PID. Instead, we use processor set tasks. This API can get our object, the text list. We will return a text list object, and this object is actually the kernel task. So from user mode, when you call this function, you need the host privilege at least, and you can call this function. And after call this function, you can get the kernel task. So text list, you can access all tasks from this list. So using this code, we can start to access all tasks, and even using VM read and VM write to read and write task memory. And also, for example, we can use thread set stat to do dynamic library injection, like Windows DLL injection. So so we make it happen again. We can direct access the kernel text. Okay, so next things with host privilege, a normal user can not only load kernel module, and also we are going to show you how to bypass kernel module verification on macOS 10.9. Okay, so this is the standard way that if you want to load a kernel module on 10.9, so put the kernel module file. It has to be a file it has to be in this folder, this path, system library extension, and run kext load to load the file. If the kernel module is not signed, OS will always pop up a warning message like this. So it is a third-party kernel module, and yeah, it's a warning for you. Okay, so we implemented my kext load, and so we can load a kernel module from any path, and file is not required. We can load kernel module on the fly, for example, from a memory, even from network. We can download a chunk of data from network, and it could be a kernel module, and we don't have to write file, and we can load this as a kernel module. So, this tool can load a kernel module without verification. No warning message. You don't have to sign the kernel module. So, and our way, no need to patch kextd. The reason is this API, kext request. We use this API to load kernel module. So this API can help us to load kernel module directly without any checking. So as you can see, if you specify your own kernel module, you have to follow the format, and then you can use this API to load your kernel module. Of course, you have to have the permission, the host privilege. Okay, so in this slide, you can see it is the source code, and the code actually check the host privilege. So not UID, it's a host privilege. So yeah, with this host privilege, then you can start to load kernel module. And one other important thing is you have to make your own kext. It is the kernel module object. Okay, so here is the structure of the object, and here is the sample of the plist. You have to follow the format, and you have to specify the offset size, and follow the spec, and you can load your own kernel module, and no warnings. Okay, so that's the demo. So in this demo, first we will demo that using host privilege to do things, and then using host privilege to load kernel module, and then after load kernel module, then we will show you bypass the kernel module warning. Okay, now we install the kernel module, and okay, so this page modify the kernel data that we make the host privilege. We grant all host privilege to all users. So now even normal user can load kernel module. Okay, so now we load kernel module using standard way. Not our way. So now you can see But we already have host privilege, so we can do this as a normal user. But this is the message, the warning message you can still see because we are using standard way to load kernel module now. As you can see, it's a normal user. Okay, so not root, not a privileged user, but yeah, our kernel module, our patch, kernel patch, grant the permission to this user, to all user actually. Okay, so yeah. This kernel module we just loaded. All right, so did you see that we used my KEXE load to load kernel module, and without warnings. This time there is no warnings. Yeah, and the kernel module is loaded. All right. All the tricks that we show basically require some privilege, at least the host privilege, right? So for a rootkit, you still need at least one time to be root. And so here, I'm going to show you a trick that can easily get root permission. It's not a real day, just a trick. So basically, when an application requires permission, such as installation, or so it will use this API to obtain authorization from security. Yeah, if you are a Mac OS developer, you might know this API, and using this API, you can get authorization. Then you can have permission to do things. So it is. Okay, so an app will call this function to request the permission to security, and security will load the configuration from here to know which permission it requires, and security will pop up a message to ask user to type password. So after type the password, security will return a token to the application. With this token, application can do something with permission, and LaunchD with this token, LaunchD will use another permission to launch the application. Okay, there are many authorization configurations in here. So yeah, there are a lot, and you can choose what you need, what kind of authorization you need, and you just specify that you need, and you can get the authorization if user type the password. But there is one configuration is very interesting. It's the com.apple.softwareupdate.scan, and it shows this application is trying to check for new Apple-provided software. Type your password to allow this. So when you allow this, it just check Apple-provided software. So after user type the password, you can get the permission. Yeah, but I think most of user will type this password without any fit in anything different. So it is the tricks that you might, the malware developer or bad guys can use to get permission from this. Okay, so conclusion that today we introduce advanced process hiding tricks. Especially we introduced the launchd, the application control from user mode. And so if you want to hide process, you have to deal with not only kernel, you have to deal with the user mode as well. So, and also we also introduced a privileged normal user that, actually in Mac OS kernel, the application, the permission control is very complicated. So I think there are still many things you can try to do that. So with host privilege, that we can do many things that because you don't have to be a root. So maybe administrator will not feel anything weird if you are just a normal user. Yeah. When your rootkit installed in the system. Then we introduced a new way to direct access kernel task. Yeah. And it is very easy way to access kernel memory. And also we introduced load kernel module. How do we load kernel module without warnings? And also a tricks to gain root permission. Okay, so there's one more thing that not only the rootkit tricks, that we are actually developing system virtuality verifier for Mac OS X. On Windows there is a SVV released like in 2006 or 2007. I don't remember, but it is basically a rootkit checker to check your kernel. Kernel is not modified by rootkit. So we are developing this tool, and we are going to give you a preview of this tool. And this tool is basically a rootkit scanner, and it is with comprehensive checkup. It checked system code table, trap table, IDT table, kernel functions, policy, permission, and network. So we check everything that might be used by rootkit. But this is under development. We are giving you a demo now. This is the way we monitor process creation. All right, now we use our tool to scan the kernel. And it check system code, check Mac trap, check IDT table, check kernel functions. Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm sorry. We use the okay. So this function. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you want to monitor the exec execute snoop is monitor the process creation, right? So it will insert some hook in the kernel. So we use our tool to check this hook, and it discover the hook. Yeah. So there are two alerts. There are two hooks we discovered. That is hooked by that tool. All right. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, I'm sorry that the screen is, I think, not very clear enough. So if you have any question or if you want to see something, please come to here. And yeah, any question? All right. Thanks for attending and thanks for your listening. Yeah, any question, please come to here. And yeah, we are very happy to. Thank you very much.